Radical.
I gotta admit, I'm a casual fan. I'm a filthy casual, you might say, of wrestling these days, specifically mostly WWE. But I did take the time to see most of WrestleMania. Honestly, I don't keep up with all the wrestlers. Honestly, unless it's somebody that's been in WWE for at least 10 years, I may not even really know who they are. There's some I pay attention to, like maybe Rhea Ripley, a couple others. But most of the people I pay attention to are the John Cenas, the Randy Ortons, the CM Punks. People like that, right? And one reason I wanted to tune in to WrestleMania was to see two main events, which was a triple threat between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins at the end of night one, which is weird because it was a main event, but there was no title involved. And then the one guy, Jey Uso, who won Royal Rumble, won a title from Gunther. I know of Gunther. I don't know much about Gunther. But the weird thing is, if usually if you win Royal Rumble, don't you main event WrestleMania? Well, I think Jey Uso is not really a main event player, so they didn't have him main event that night. He won a championship, but he did main event, which tells you a lot about, how they build people up. But anyways, I'm not really talking about anything about WrestleMania other than Cena versus Cody. That's what I want to focus on. But I will say, it's a big loser, the biggest loser. It's a losing night for nuts. There was a lot of nut shots in the triple threat. Everyone got their nuts hit by Paul Heyman, except Seth Rollins. So we have a lot of sore nuts the next day, which is weird when you think about it, because usually they try to differ the main events. I know it's a big heel move, the oomph, the nut shot, but just too many nut shots, man. You can't creatively think about other ways for the heels to get over or something like that. Maybe use of a weapon, maybe them bringing somebody in. I don't know. Like, I kind of get it when it comes to the Paul Heyman because, what is he going to do? Huh? What is he going to do? That was a shocking moment because he sided with Seth Rollins. It was a shocking moment a couple months ago. The most shocking moment, and I talked about it, when John Cena turned heel. It's a big moment. It got major coverage. The guy hadn't been heel in a long time. He was Mr. Company Man, Mr. Face. And that was a shocking moment. That's the kind of moment usually that happens like at a WrestleMania. I think they blew their load a little bit too early on that, because that moment at that pay-per-view, even with The Rock there, was a much bigger moment than anything that happened at WrestleMania. And there was a big moment to happen at WrestleMania. Okay? If you haven't seen the Cody versus Cena match, pause this upload and go watch it. Because here's the big spoiler. Cena won. All right? Which is the right move. I think a good move, all things considered. He is the 17-time champion. A lot of people are calling him the GOAT. He has the most championships, unless you believe Ric Flair, when Ric Flair says that he has more 20-something championships, they're just not recognized. Woo! They're just not recognized. But officially, for WWE, they mention Ric Flair a whole lot, and he has surpassed Ric Flair. And that moment is a moment that can't be taken away. It's a special moment. Even though John Cena is a heel, at the end of that match, he's walking away, puts the belt on backwards, symbolizing, I don't know, maybe like his best days are behind him, and he's talking about the last time, and he's only got limited appearances. He talked about on the following Monday Night Raw. But for that moment, you had such a shitty match. It was such a shitty match for WrestleMania standards and qualities, from what you expect from a main event of WrestleMania. I'll talk about a couple things that made the match shitty. I mean, you had not a feel-good moment, really, but a moment to where the fans, a lot of them were chanting for John at the end of that match. And during the match, the weird thing is, even though Cody was technically the face, a lot of people were cheering for John Cena. They wanted to see him get number 17, which is the crazy booking of this match, which is confused booking. And I've always held to it. I've been a traditionalist that is sometimes you have a tweener, sometimes you have a heel that still kind of gets over with the crowd, but I think by the time WrestleMania rolls around, you should stomp that shit out. You should have a clear defined heel and a clear defined face. Last year's WrestleMania, great WrestleMania, great main event. You had a build-up. You had Cody going over the clear heel in Roman Reigns. This was... But it can't all be blamed on Cody and Cena because... Well, maybe some can be blamed on Cody because, see, Cody didn't want to turn heel. So Cena had to turn heel. Did I mention that before? Cody did not want to turn heel. But that would make a whole lot more sense. And if Cody turned heel, then I think this moment would have been a lot better. Cena going over to get to 17. And some people still might not like the face John Cena, but it would make sense if he's on his last tour. You know, you could have a moment to where kind of like people were chanting for, they were wanting Cody to get over that hump and finish his story. Well, how about you could flip it around and you could have Cena talk about, I want to finish my story. You finished your story, but I want to finish mine. I'm taking that title from you. And then, I don't know, you maybe have Cody align with The Rock. So instead of Cena, you have Cody align with The Rock. Oh, The Rock, by the way, The Rock was nowhere to be found. He didn't show up, which is weird, strange, right? Because it's a WrestleMania. You think at WrestleMania, of all events, you would see The Rock. You would. So maybe there's a reason he wasn't there, but it's fucking WrestleMania. You expect to see The Rock. Let me tell you about the booking, what happened, and what I would have done. Even though I'm not Triple H, I'm going to tell you how I would have booked this to go. I'm not going to go over the whole match, but basically I'm telling you that it was not a good match. There was a lot of AAs, attitude adjustments. Used to be called the FU, but they changed Cena's finisher to the attitude adjustment. There was a lot of some Cena axe handles, if I recall. Cena, maybe it's just because he's trying to be slower, because he's trying to work as a heel, but he just seemed kind of washed. Like as a wrestler, he just didn't have that same kind of energy. So maybe it doesn't really work with him playing a heel. There was a moment in the match where he hit a top rope attitude adjustment, which is usually something that would get close to pinning somebody. Very close. Because that's a big time move. That's something you build up to. Maybe, you book, you have a couple attitude adjustments, and then near the end of the match, if it doesn't go over, it's such a close count out to where Cena gets up with the ref, maybe argues with him, maybe grabs him by his collar and says, "What the fuck, man? That was 3. 1, 2, 3, something like that." But it was kind of like an afterthought at the point in the match. You see and you're like, well, damn, that was a top rope attitude adjustment and nothing. And then there's some shenanigans, because you get at one point they're kind of fighting over the belt, which looked fake. And wrestling is fake, but you want to try and make it look where it's not too fake. They're fighting like two girls over the belt and everything, or 2 kids or whatever. It looks so silly. And at one point, Cena took the top turnbuckle off, hit Cody, or Irish whipped him into there, and then I think might have hit him with the belt or had an attitude adjustment or something, and he kicked out. So there was a couple moments that, well, one moment specifically, that took everything out of the match. Took all the wind out of the sails in that stadium. Almost everybody was expecting a run-in. And they were expecting... If you smell... They were expecting The Rock to come down. They were expecting him. Somebody to come down to try to help Cena win. Because they thought, if Cena's going to go over... And usually when these things happen, when, if I didn't mention this, the past couple, 2 or 3 times, when they've ever met in a ring, Cena has gotten crossroads. So he's been laid out. Usually that means, booking wise, that Cena's going to go over at WrestleMania. Usually that's, not always, but usually that's what happens. And there was so much hype. Number 17, all the buildup was for Cena to win. Not clean, but to win in some way, shape, or form. And you're thinking probably it's going to be some shenanigans. The Rock, or hell, maybe even, Ric Flair would have been a good booking decision. Hear me out, right? Hear me out. They keep talking about John Cena beating Ric Flair's record, right? So, what if Ric Flair comes down, maybe has some brass knucks or something, maybe rears back, and he's going to hit Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes ducks, and he hits John Cena? Oh, wait, no, wait, fuck that, no. He would be trying to hit John Cena. Okay, well, I didn't completely think this Ric Flair thing out. My apologies here. But my thought was just to have him involved in some way, shape, or form. To come down, and he would be pissed off because he would be trying to keep Cena. And that would be a big shock. Him coming down the ramp, right? Wouldn't it be crazy? I think it'd be kind of fun. He comes down there, and he's trying to do his best to, cheer for Cody Rhodes. Cheer for him, but then he acts like a heel because he tries to hit Cena with the brass knucks and accidentally hits Cody Rhodes. There you go. And then, Cena smiles, that gives him an AA, covers him, or after Ric Flair hits Cody with the brass knucks, then Cena picks up the title, maybe hits Ric Flair with the title, he goes flying, then he hits Cody Rhodes, and then maybe an AA or something like that. I always think that heel or face, a finisher should always finish the match. It's kind of lame, especially at WrestleMania. A finisher should always finish a match. All right? But Ric Flair didn't come down. The Rock did not come down. Almost everybody was expecting The Rock to come down. And maybe the ref gets knocked over. It wasn't a no disqualification. But The Rock gives the rock bottom to Cody Rhodes. And then, they celebrate together after the win. But no, we get Travis motherfucking Scott. You might be wondering, who the hell is Travis Scott? If you didn't check out my last upload a couple months back, I talked about how Travis Scott almost fucked everything up, and he legit hit Cody Rhodes, and he injured him. He bursted his eardrum or something like that because he doesn't know what he's fucking doing. He tried to put a hold on Cody Rhodes, but he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a wrestler, right? I'll link that upload after this if you didn't hear that commentary. But he comes out. And it takes him forever, longer than The Undertaker to get to the match. And Cena's smiling like a Cheshire cat. He's got a shit-eating grin. But I'm thinking, why? Like, oh, watch out. Travis Scott is here. Oh, my goodness. I was having trouble with Cody Rhodes putting him away, but I got my guy out here, wink, wink. Travis Scott's going to help me deliver this, right? It's not a lot of backup. Travis Scott, soaking wet, with a brick in each of 4 pockets, making his saggy pants sag even more, is only like 120 pounds. That's being generous. The guy is a fucking toothpick. Toothpick! So he's a mediocre B-list rapper But WWE, for whatever reason, they love him. They love this person. In the case even of Bad Bunny, okay, Bad Bunny was a big superstar. Big superstar, right? And he could actually wrestle a little bit. I thought that looked silly. But Bad Bunny is twice the size of this dude. I can't stress how not twice the size of it, but, and I talked about how Bad Bunny years back, I think, was too skinny to be in the ring and believable. Just take a motherfucking protein shake. He had 2 months to bulk up before WrestleMania to get some muscle mass to make it look like he is not a little child next to Cody Rhodes. But he comes down. I'm sorry, I spent about like 3 or 4 minutes just talking about that. But it took him twice as long, it seemed, to actually just get to the ring. And he's talking back and forth to Cody Rhodes. And he decides, Cody Rhodes says, hey, come on in the ring. This is after he comes down and pulls a referee out because he hits his move, Crossroads, on Cena, and he pulls the referee out. And this strong 110-pound man, apparently, when he pulled the referee out, did a lot of damage to the referee, but just by pulling his foot out. Hell, he just went into like a referee coma. I didn't understand it. It would make sense if the referee got up and ejected him, but no. He just lightly pulls him out of the ring, and then, oh my goodness. Did it look like he could have sold that maybe if he hit his head on something and he was grabbing his head, but no, nothing at all. Gets up there, gets in the ring, gets face to face with Cody Rhodes. Rears back like he's going to hit him, but of course, Cody Rhodes grabs his hand, then puts him in a crossroads, and he takes the crossroads like he takes the move. He doesn't botch that, so hey, golf clap for you, Travis Scott. But after that happens, Cena's trying to hit Cody with the belt, I think. Then Cody grabs the belt. And then Cody has the belt like he's going to hit John Cena. But he begs and he begs and he pleads, please, sir, don't hit me with the belt, please. The minute Cody drops the belt, I told you it's a bad night for nuts. Cena rears back and he gives him a Bobby Hill to Hank. I don't know you. Boom! Right there. Right in the baby makers. Yep. So it kicks him in the nuts. Then Cody goes down. Cody goes down. Then he gets up and I think he hits him with the belt again and he's going to cover him, but it takes a while for him to go to get the referee. And you think at this point, well, it took him a while to go get the referee, so he's going to kick out. But he doesn't. Bad booking. Usually, kick somebody in the nuts, if you're going to, and then possibly the better thing, other than hit him with the belt, would be for him to be kind of like, oh, and he gets in position. Cody leans over after he gets kicked in the nuts. And then John Cena picks him up, gives him the AA. Then there you go. It should end with a finisher. A WrestleMania finish should end with a finisher, I believe. Otherwise, it just seems like something less. But yeah, I think he celebrates with Travis Scott, who's a fucking NPC when it comes to wrestling. Just a nobody. Just a who the fuck is this dude? Who's Johnson is he sucking? Maybe Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Maybe Travis Scott is, doing something for him like that. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm not sure. Did someone lose a bet with Travis Scott in the backstage? This is Triple H booking, man. I mean, it almost makes you think about bringing old Vinnie Mac back. Not that they ever would. They would never consider that. But I think Vince McMahon would see this and say, well, that's crap. That's not going to work. But this is a terrible WrestleMania compared to last year. Terrible main event. And the only silver lining is, John Cena, he got 17. Now, some people that have defended this WrestleMania, that's one thing I'll finish off on. Some people that defended this WrestleMania are saying and claiming that, well, oh, and by the way, John, his interests came out. Everything was black, and it was very basic, and it just said John Cena, which is got to be the blandest, most boring WrestleMania interest of all time. But maybe that's sticking with storyline. So do you give them bonus points for sticking with storyline? Also, John Cena said he was going to ruin WrestleMania. So I guess a lot of people, they feel after that trash main event and Travis Scott taking up so much of a focus from the main event, maybe mission accomplished, possibly. So are we at that point now to where they're all just sitting there and grinning, going, man, this is a great WrestleMania. I ruined WrestleMania. I did a great job. I did exactly what I said I was going to do. Came out, had no entrance. I don't think we're at a point to where we need to give praise to WWE for them doing what is in storyline. I don't think they get a pass for that, because ultimately WrestleMania should be a showcase of the stars, not fucking Travis Scott. Wrestling stars. It should be a showcase. It should be, storyline aside, it should be two wrestlers giving it their all. And even if you have a situation, don't worry about the situations behind the scenes. Okay? You don't need to take it to the point to where you're just going to have a shitty main event because your heel said that they're going to ruin the main event. They're going to ruin wrestling for everybody. Okay, that's something for a Raw or SmackDown. We don't need that to be WrestleMania. Okay? Also, I'm not saying that you need to have John break character and start celebrating with the crowd because he got 17. No, you don't need that. But that's, I guess that's all I got to say about this. I had a lot more to say than I thought. This is a lot longer than I thought it would be. Now, there was, I'm sure, some bright spots at WrestleMania. I didn't see the whole thing. But usually your main events is what people pay the most attention to. When people look back on WrestleManias, they look back first at the main events. And sadly, when people look back at this WrestleMania, Travis Scott is forever going to be a big part of that WrestleMania main event. He's going to be a huge part of that, and he doesn't deserve to be. Years past, people talk about, oh, what about Mike Tyson, huh? Mike Tyson had a big part in a WrestleMania main event. Okay, that makes sense. Mike Tyson in the Shawn Michaels Stone Cold main event? Yeah. Right? That makes sense, because it's Mike Tyson. It's Mike Tyson. All right? A guy that's 3 times the size of Travis. I just can't get over how they put this string bean, the stick, this little tiny little man in that situation. All right, so there's my thoughts on WrestleMania, the main event, mostly. I don't have any thoughts I'm going to share about the rest of the card because mostly I cared about the main event, seeing that main event. I'm happy with the outcome. I think that's the correct outcome for that match. Even though many people are going to be sad that Cody lost, it was the right move. It was. You had his big victory last year. He's been champion, and a legitimate heel dethroned him. Now, how we got to that point, I don't agree with. The booking of the match, I damn sure don't agree with. They could have done it better. But going forward, I saw a little bit of Raw. Now you have a feud starting between Randy Orton and John Cena, which would be kind of fun considering the history they have. And they had a lot of matches and they have pretty good chemistry. So that'll be fun to look forward to. There's a story here with John Cena. So maybe if we, just get the bad taste of WrestleMania, out of the way, we can look forward to John Cena's last run. And he has the belt now. So, there's that. And the Randy Orton feud might be pretty good. So yeah, let's just, I guess, try to be positive and look forward and just completely try to forget of this, bad, completely underwhelming WrestleMania. I'm not going to go into a lot of the other matches, but I'll just say completely underwhelming WrestleMania and look forward to the future, and hopefully next year's WrestleMania is better. Hell, probably can't be any fucking worse unless they headline Travis Scott. Maybe they put him in a match or something against somebody. Oh shit, I don't want to give him any ideas, huh?